Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. Gonna have a great week. Liam Murphy back to rip a couple big board drafts. We're a little um, under a month out from the NFL draft starting. The big board with 200K up top is nearly 70% filled. So, gonna be ripping a couple big boards today just to get some drafts down. Kick off this week. Let's get it, gang. All right, no real time to waste. Going to be jumping into the draft today. If you missed it last week, I had on JJ Zacharyson to talk through the rookie class. Going to be entering, I've only done 10 big boards so far, 150 max, of course. And in the interest of my time and to give you guys more content, going to be entering 10, no, not 10. We're going to do a casual 3 today to kick it off. Maybe we'll work that number up. Of course, I have been known to do 20, 25 drafts at once if I really have to. The DraftKings Millie Maker last year, I did 15 to 20 at the same time and had, really strong advance rates. But we're not so desperate at the current moment. I am in the next 3, so if you want to draft with me, now is the time to jump in. Let me get these queued up. Good morning. Good morning. Finally, a haircut. Well, the story on the haircut is I got a haircut, and I was trying to get a fade. And, I did a walk-in. It's usually my style. And she's like, great, come on in. And then as I'm doing the haircut, she's like, I don't have time for a fade. I'm like, well, why did I come here? So whatever. She gave me like a bowl cut. It was literally the worst haircut I've ever got. Got a new fade because my girlfriend's friend got married, so went to a wedding this past weekend. So yeah, now here we're at. Thank you for taking note, though. We are on the road to 5K. If you are not already, please subscribe to the channel. Help me out. And if you want to talk best ball with me and my community, make sure to join the Discord in the link below. I see Bindles is in there, a YouTube member. Going to be going on Bindles' channel this Friday, so take a look for that. Thank you, Preston. In this day and age, you got to make an appointment. I love all the advisors I have out there. We need 3 more for this draft. No, I think I found a good barber. I like this lady. She was business. Just got right in there, cut the hair. We didn't chit-chat too much. That's so, some people like to talk a lot while they cut hair. Me, I'll close my eyes. I'll converse if they want to converse with me, but I'm not searching for that conversation. Been a while since I've done a morning stream. I'm a bit of a morning person, I would say, but also a night owl. So burning in at both ends. Definitely going to need to refill the coffee at one point here. Might as well get a whistle to start off this week. Of course, the whistle is broken, but it still flies. That's just clearing the air. Any bad voodoo you had, it's all cleared. We're all going to have a great week now. Kombucha recommendations, a great question for the whistle. I've been going to Whole Foods. I like the Health Aid ones, the Ginger Aid ones, and um, we got this bad boy filled. I pulled the 103. But yeah, I've been buying the giant Health Aid bottles. So pulled the 103 here. I'm starting to feel good about my feel for this rookie class. Probably have jumped in more than I have before. Previously I've had on like Davis and Pat, and we've just kind of shot the shit. But I'm starting to hone in. I'm starting to hear some narratives. I can already tell people are gonna shit on Xavier Worthy for being fast. I used to be able to hold the control key and multi-do these, but might just have to look at these on my phone in the meantime, and I'll pull them up when they open. The next draft is at 5 out of 12 if you want to join. All right, the 103 feels good. Looks like Bijan is creeping up the boards ahead of Breece Hall. That's how I would have had it ranked. That's not how it was. Really don't feel like you can go wrong between Jamar and Tyreek. We're going to go Jamar for a couple reasons. One, he's comfortably younger. Two, Tyreek's, obviously he's older. He's an explosive player, and he's most likely going to be fine. But, he's just got a lot of drama surrounding him. Apparently, he tried to get his wife to sign a premarital prenup. That didn't go well. I think he pushed over a plus-size model. I don't know and she's suing him or something. Some people think that the wife lit the house on fire during the premarital disagreement. So I don't know what's going on. But I've not heard any of that with Jamar. So I mean that it's not happening, but he seems a pretty drama-free guy. Betting on the Joe Burrow resurgence. A healthy Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase crushes. T. Higgins could be out of there too. It could just be Jamar and gang. While couldn't you see someone fun landing in Miami? Both as like a contingency plan for when Tyreek moves on. And because when your quarterback's Tua, you quite frankly just need to have elite weaponry to compete. Ant here says, where do y'all think Worthy ends up? I think the Dolphins are swinging hard for him. Yeah, like something like that could happen. And let me zoom in on this for you guys. No, I don't want to zoom in on me. Yeah, like Worthy there would be really fun. I'd rather see Worthy be a Bill or a Chief, someone like that. I don't think we've had anything notable happen in free agency since I last spoke to you guys, but let me check there. Second draft room needs one more. Oh yeah. I wanted to talk about a couple of things happened. And I think the takes are like silly by people trying to sound smart on Twitter. First thing that happened is Mike Williams became a Jet. And I saw Jets fans even being like, "Oh, I don't like this. He's risky." Well, guys, you got to be honest if you are a Jets fan here, right? Your quarterback is 40. That's a literal thing. That's not like he's nearly 40. Aaron Rodgers is 40 off a significant injury, right? You got coaches who are almost assuredly are on their last leg. Like if it doesn't work out for these coaches, they're out of there. And when you have that situation, you are highly incentivized to gamble on short-term risk players. So signing Mike Williams to a 1-year deal is a super sharp, smart gamble to me for the Jets. Why? Because I mean, Mike Williams is legit good if healthy, right? Mike Williams has not missed as many games as people think. He tore his ACL, right, this past year. I think it was ACL. So that's not ideal, obviously, right? Um, with Jamar here, wow, it's just all wide receivers. Let's go Josh. Let's go Josh and see what happens. Josh's ADP is not dropping, but it should. I gotta zoom out a little bit more. It's just kind of hard for me to see the players. But yeah, I think the gamble on short-term risk players with big upside in Mike Williams. Obviously, we would have liked Diggs there, but is what it is. I don't think there's any real great way to set that up. And let's go Malik Neighbors. There's risk he could be a giant, but he's kind of a Jamar Chase type guy. So anyways, I think the Mike Williams signing is one of the best landing spots he could have landed in, being the wide receiver 2 of Aaron Rodgers. The guy could have, he could have 10 touchdowns easy with a healthy Rodgers, where Garrett Wilson still the one to me. But, you go from Allen Lazard to Mike Williams. Hello, that's a huge upgrade. And yeah, maybe Mike needs a little bit of time, is what it is. But I love that signing for them. The Jerry Jeudy extension. Oh shit, we got this other draft open. I think I just need to open this. Totally forgot about that. Why is NBA the default here? Where? Best ball, NFL. Maybe drafts, active. Think this one. No. This one. All right, we got 2 Jamar Chase starts here. Pulled the 105 this time. And Chase felled me at the 105. So we got 2 going on. At the top here, it clicks away the picks for me. I think I need to close the draft board to actually get it to count. It's a minor bug in the system. So yeah, the Mike Williams signing, super sharp from the Jets. Oh yeah, Jerry Jeudy extension, a bit bizarre. I mean, the reported guaranteed money was way more than is truthful. His guarantees were not close to the last draft is at 7 out of 12, by the way. His guarantees are like 20 million, which I think it's clear he is the preferred third target of choice over Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore's never been that good. And so Jeudy, worth a gamble there. I mean, look, Deshaun's got a really wide range. Deshaun could turn it on, and we could be like, oh, this is what the Browns were trying to trade for. Or Deshaun could continue to get outplayed by guys like Joe Flacco and Gardner Minshew. Fantasy-wise, though, I think he should be able to support some fun numbers there. I view it Amari Cooper 1, and then Njoku, Jeudy as that like 2. Judy's done okay as like a deep role, which with Deshaun is pretty fun. So yeah, he's not the worst buy low in fantasy. Probably not the best buy high though in real life. The other thing that happened is the Titans traded for Ladarius Sneed. And this is where all these like quote unquote Twitter sharps were like, what are the Titans doing? Like Will Levis might not even be good. Well, what do you want them to do? Do you want them to not sign anyone and just figure it out. Be like, okay, maybe Will Levis is good, maybe he's not. We'll go from there. I'm gonna go. Let's go DJ Moore this time. So I think the people shitting on the Titans is silly. Now, you could say certain players you don't like. Like, you may not like that they paid Calvin Ridley the money. But the truth is, when you have cap space and free agency, you you're just at the mercy um of who's available, and certain free agent years are going to be better than others. And you can look to, teams probably look to the next year and they're like, okay, these guys might be free agents, these guys might not. The truth is, Calvin Ridley may be the best free agent wide receiver you'll be able to sign for like 5 years. So when you have that type of guy, you just need to take the gamble for only salary cap space. So now you got Will Levis surrounded with Hopkins, Calvin Ridley. A lot of people have mentioned that Treylon Burks' natural place is in the slot, and so he might be able to excel from there. And you improve the defense. You got Ladarius Steen in there. Let's see. We are at pick 46. Lamar's still there. James Cook's still there. Flowers, Pacheco. We're going to go James Cook this time. Little Josh James stack. Don't need to stack wideouts necessarily, but I like what the Titans are doing. Yeah, I still think they have O-line concerns, right? But that's probably something they're going to try to hit in the draft. And they are making moves so that, they brought Tony Pollard in. They're making moves to support Levis. And if Levis, makes a Josh Allen type leap, now you can make some actual noise, right? So I don't know what these people wanted the Titans to do, to just like continue to kick the can down the road. And not to mention, if Will Levis is not good, well, now you've surrounded him with the talent to assess it. And if he's like really bad and you pick in the top 5 next year, you'll be able to. Let's make a pick real quick. I'm going to go Christian Kirk. Kirk's been on all 3 of my winning best ball teams. Great glue guy. Amari Cooper's also been on several of my winning teams, so could have gone him. Higher ADP. But yeah, if Levis flops, we got that third one filled. And he's like really bad. Well, now you get to surround a rookie with actual one was Treylon Burks. So I like the Titans' moves. Must be this one. I think we autoed Bijan at 5 here, which is totally fine. Debo Tank, can't go wrong. We're going Tank though. Neighbors there as well. I want to be buying Tank shares, although I guess it's a little spooky. There's been a lot of rumblings about the Texans trying to add another weapon, but I mean, that's just sharp as a team, right? You want to surround your team, your quarterback, with weapons. They saw what happened when Tank went down. They might view Tank as a little bit more injury prone. So yeah, if you guys are doing this on desktop like me, little trick of the trade, if you do not leave it in the draft board at the top here, these numbers will update for you. So 2 picks away, 12, 2. But if you do leave the draft board up, it doesn't update. So yeah, I think the Titans made some, sharp moves to find out. And I don't get the hate on them. Let's see here. Let's go a double running back start. Bijan and Achan. We got the steady guy in Bijan, and we got the explosive guy in Achan. So we got a triple wide receiver start. We got double running back start. We got a wide out quarterback, wide out start. Curtis Samuel on the Bills, fun signing. I still think they're a heavy favorite to add a wideout in round 1 or round 2, maybe round 3. Jets still trading for Adams. I don't see that happening. I could see them wanting to have that happen, but I mean, if that happens, that's more of like a trade deadline trade where you got to give Aiden O'Connell, who seems like the most likely guy to be the quarterback in the Raiders, especially with what Antonio Pierce said recently, being like it all starts with him. You got to give him a shot to start the year. And if he's awful, like real bad, and you figure you just need to try to tank pretty much, well, then you could trade him. But again, you generally want to have good wideouts and whatnot to be able to evaluate the quarterbacks on your roster, right? Like Josh Allen's rookie year, his wide receiver 1 was Kelvin Benjamin, who then was out of the NFL. So, like, not a good Kelvin Benjamin. Like Robert Foster, guys who you can't even assess the quarterback from. Okay. Yeah, let's go Aaron Jones here. Getting a little fast and furious here. Pick 44. We'll take the T. Higgins. Setting up for Burrow. Joe Burrow being in the 70s is outrageous. And then pick 29. We pretty much just need to go wide out here. And I'm going to go Neighbors. I like the buzz we're hearing on him. It does feel like the Giants might get him, but don't care. What's up, Cal? So yeah, pretty balanced start over here. Who do you guys think's going to are you guys buying the steam that JJ McCarthy will be a Viking at pick 4? I mean, if the Vikings draft McCarthy at 4, that makes Marvin Harrison Jr. a Charger, which is fun, right? Like him being a Charger or a Cardinal, it's all good. Let's see here. We're at pick 75. See, I do like Hopkins and Ramondre, but we're going to go Joe. Like, Joe is just mispriced here. There is zero reason Joe should be... Like, am I the only one who's drafted the past couple of years? We're dinging Joe because he got hurt, I guess. Joe scores on par with Pat Mahomes. His spikes are as good as Lamar and gang. He's an elite quarterback in fantasy. If T. Higgins is traded and the Bengals don't pick up another wide receiver, is Chase the 101 off volume alone? I mean, if T's traded, they're getting a wideout, or at least Brock Bowers or someone, But yeah, I mean, he's in a pretty spot. See, depending what the Cowboys do, CeeDee Lamb again could be in for monster volume. I would say vibes are a little bit less good in Dallas, both with Dax, Dak had some legal things show up. Don't really know what's going on there personally. And then also he's really not being committed to for the future. We're going James Cook. We're going triple running back over here. And we're going to go with, not many running backs, 4 or 5 total, but a Bijan, Achane, James Cook feels pretty good. James could be in for a huge year, right? Because we saw what Joe Brady did when he took over, and now he'll get his full offseason. Your little board's looking nice with your huge Hollywood. Yeah, I mean, I'm always a Hollywood guy. I got some accidental Hollywood and Mahomes stacks. I'm gonna go Adunze. It's hard for me to pass on these tight ends because in general I want to be doing that, but we'll get an alpha wideout start. And our wideouts are from mostly statues, guys who are going to put up big passing volumes. Joe Burrow's wideouts, CJ Stroud wideout, Caleb Williams wideout. Caleb Williams should be able to do similar to Stroud numbers, if not more. A little bit for everything here. We got the alpha running back. Although I would not say the high T running back drafters of the past are taking Achane and Cook as their 2 and 3. Cook seems pretty mispriced too. Right? Like Cook is going to score on par with an Achane, with a Gibbs sometimes. Yeah, pretty much need to go wide out here. And I've been liking getting a Dunze. I put out a tweet the other day about how we could see a huge wide receiver run at the end of the draft. I'll pull that up for people. Make sure I'm not in draft board mode. I could see all these teams being in on wide receiver in some way. Cowboys, Brandon Cooks is old. They kind of need a real 2 besides CeeDee Lamb. The Packers, if the Packers are not happy with their bunch of 1Bs, I could see them wanting a guy with a different skill set or more of a 1. The Bucks, that would be, the Bucks I think are one of the less likely teams, but that would be if it's Mike Evans is old, Chris Godwin's old. The Cardinals, obviously they don't have a lot of wide receivers right now. The Bills, Gabe Davis left. They need more wide receivers there. The Lions, their wide receiver 2 is an inconsistent spike week guy. So I could see them wanting the guy there. The Ravens, OBJ's gone. Bateman's an unknown. It's pretty much just Zay Flowers. The Niners, the Niners, if they trade Ayuk, if that's a real rumor, or if they're trying to plan for after him. And then the Chiefs, always need more wide receivers there too. So I can see a bunch of guys going there. Let's see, we're on the clock here. Feels good to get Njoku as our tight end 1, a guy with some upside, and really the last of the tight ends that you feel somewhat good about. So I like taking Njoku. I mean, Goddard too, Schultz somewhat, but after that, it's like it's rough out there. We're at pick 68 here. Kincaid and Pitts are there. I'm into both this year. Like Pitts, I think is underpriced, and he could like outscore Kincaid, but we're gonna go Kincaid this time. If the Bills do bring rookies along slowly, so even if they add a guy, and we're back on the clock here. I'm gonna take the gamble on Mike Williams. Just a stud, if healthy. Obviously a risky pick. Like the rookie picks feel safer, but might not have the same upside. If Pitts was here, I would take Pitts. Kittle, Kittle's always good, but we're gonna go Kincaid again. Um, I mean, structurally, this team's really screaming for a wideout, but getting one of the elite tight ends, not like 20 points per game elite, but consistent 10-ish, just does so much for your team. I mean, hey, Ayuk could be shipped out and Kittle could have his best year. So I think during draft season, I'll just be randomizing those tight ends if they stay that order of ADP. And the names I put that could go at the end of the first round is Brian Thomas Jr., who currently he's getting more buzz as a like a teens pick, but every year we see guys fall a little bit further. Like, JSN after his 3-cone was getting buzz as a top whatever pick. Xavier Worthy, Troy Franklin, Adonai Mitchell, Lad McConkey, who I kind of want the Bills to draft Lad. He's an outside wide receiver, not a slot guy. Keon Coleman, like Lad is white, so people are like, oh, slot guy. But he ran like 70% plus on the outside. Yeah, pretty easy pick for us here. We'll be taking Joe Burrow. So we got our Burrow double stack with no running backs, 5 wideouts, and Kincaid. So kind of sit on the talent of these 5 wideouts for a while. Over here, pretty much always going a wideout. I think Hopkins, with me having 2 rookies, Hopkins is a guy who really fits this room well. I'd rather have Hopkins than Deontay currently. I think Deontay is like a little bit safer, but just where Hopkins could be if he's down the pecking order from Ridley or whatever, but showed good chemistry with Levis, touchdown machine. Means I'm not hitting this quarterback tier as much, which I generally want to be, but that's okay. You gotta do things when you start 3 running backs. I'm gonna have to find a time here to run away and throw a coffee on. Let's see, we got 2-2-4-1 over here. Pick 118. So obviously done at quarterback. Hawkinson was one of my flag plants last year, which worked out well until he got hurt. Everyone else was not, or not everyone, but a lot of people were not into him. They called him boring. They called him whatever. Let's see. The guys on my inside also need running backs. So I guess I could take my running back of choice and I'll just, I'll take Chase Brown here. I already got Joe Burrow. I don't have T. Higgins. Chase Brown obviously profiles as more of the pass catching back. A little ADP dip on him. So we got two running backs stacked up with my quarterbacks. Always a more unique pairing in general. I had a dream Najee Harris was traded away. And as a longtime Jalen Warren guy, he was on my DK555 team back in the day. All right, let's see here. We need running backs, obviously. But I'm taking Kyler and being done at quarterback. And over here, I'm going to quote unquote reach for Curtis Samuel. Just add a stack with Josh. Almost no shot Curtis makes it back to be a pick 142. And yeah, I think Curtis will be both in the running back role and also a wide receiver role, versatile player. Over here. I'm going to grab Njoku and stop at 2 tight ends. And with me feeling good about my running backs, good about my tight ends, it lets me go heavy volume at wideout. And then, we'll see what happens at quarterback. Just the biggest tier break at tight end there. But yeah, I'm going to find the next part in this draft where it seems like the picks are far enough away to run and throw on a coffee. How many of these bad boys you ripping? Just 3 right now. My streams are going to probably be like that going forward when I just do a draft stream just to get some volume in. I've not been drafting a lot off stream, maybe only 1 or 2. So want to just use the time a little bit more efficiently. And I think most people like to see more drafts. Yeah, so we got this team's a little bit more balanced. This team is obviously wide receiver heavy. And then this team is running back heavy to start. So a good mix for everybody. I'm going to go Herbert and play that Herbert either lands Malik Neighbors or Adunze as his de facto wide receiver 1. Also seems like he could land Marvin Harrison Jr. People are scared off from Herbert a little bit, both from just the past couple of years and also Harbaugh being there. Okay, now seems like a time to start hitting on some running backs for this team. And I'm a big Zamir White guy, but I'm just going to go Javante for this time. Zamir's got massive upside, but obviously some risk of some competition landing in the draft. Javante, a year off of the injury, feels pretty safe. Pretty boring, you could say, but safe. I was tempted to go wide receiver and just figure out quarterback, which maybe I should have done, but I'm hoping that Neighbors lands for Herbert for this team in particular. And we're going heavy volume at wideout with the Kincaid Njoku pairing, and with Herbert, I'll probably just go 2 QBs. Let's see here. I don't think there's any one way I have to go here. But just kind of peeking at the names coming up, I feel like Ford has a bit more upside than Charbonnet, but also more downside. Let's go with Charbonnet this time. Year 2. I got a lot of Ken Walker right now. How much do you think T climbs if he gets a deal with Cincy? I don't see him getting a deal. He's not that good, but I mean, I don't know. I don't think he's in this tier of players. He's just at the end of the tier. Right? Like, I'm not going to say he goes ahead of Mike Evans or whatever. I think in the past years he's been overdrafted. Yeah, Lockett feels pretty great here as my wide receiver 4 with 2 rookies and a heavy running back start. Um, let's go Jerome Ford. Why not? This is the type of team that can take that gamble. Jahan and Ford both pretty after ADP. Fryermuth is fine, but like I'm going to kind of depend on Njoku for this team. So we got 2-5-5-1. So again, go Curtis Samuel. We got triple Bills pieces here, not intentional. Maybe that should have meant I should have done a different player, but that's okay. They can ping pong. If Caleb was here, I was maybe going to triple QB this. With him not, pretty safe to go running back. And we're going to go Moss. I don't feel like he's the most upside play of this tier of players. However, getting like every touchdown on the Bengals feels pretty good. You know, we're going to be going volume at running back anyway. So the weeks where, you know, if a playoff week, if Burrow bombs and it goes all to Moss, we at least have those touchdowns, and then we'll just depend on Kyler. Going to use this time to grab a coffee. perfect timing. Thanks for staying with me there. We're about to be on the clock on all three of them. So this is our one where we want some wideouts. And I saw Josh Palmer there, and we have Justin Herbert. So easy player to reach on a little bit there out of stack. This team, we can go any direction. Love Darnell Mooney here, though. I mean, Darnell Mooney had a 180-point season in fantasy when he was the wide receiver 1 of the Bears. Now he's the wide receiver 3, or I guess wide out 2 of the Falcons, and maybe he'll be the 3 if they add someone. So seems like a great value. Yeah, tight end's gross. Running back, I don't feel compelled either. I'm going to take Douglas. Just a boring guy. Feels pretty safe. This team, we want running backs. We're going to be grabbing a bunch of them. So, going to go with Jonathan Brooks. Like, I could grab Singletary just for, like, the safe early season points. But we're going to go Brooks for hoping that the volume kind of covers that. And Brooks is kind of like our late season high upside play. So we got 2-5-7-1 over here. You know, the wide receiver room's not the most inspirational, but you got high-end talent of Chase, Neighbors, Kirk and Mike, Adam Spikes, Curtis, and Mooney can give you games. Douglas can get in there for 10 points, touchdown in an odd week. Njoku holding it down. A fun running back room with some upside and 2 elite quarterbacks. Our wide receiver room is rounding out with pizzas here for a team that went 3 running backs at the start. Okay. Again, we're going to go Mooney. I think the rookies are interesting too, but Mooney, you know, feels really safe for some spike weeks at the current point in time. Do I trust Brandon Breen? Yeah, in general, I do. I think he's learned some lessons. He's doing good things. Do you have an ideal player you want round 1? Pretty open to Ladd McConkey, Xavier Worthy, if they want to take that risk. If they go edge rusher, D tackle, that's fine too. Ladd feels like a early round 2, late round 1. Like people might have more of a early round 2 grade on him, but really depends what kind, you know. And when that happens, sometimes teams trade out of round 1 because you got to ask yourself, do you want the 5th year cost controlled of the rookie, you know, the 5th year cost controlled option on a player? And at what position do you want that at? So do you want that at edge rusher? Do you want that at wide receiver? This team needs running backs. Jerome Ford, great upside swing. And he complements Brooks quite well, where Ford seems pretty safe to start the year in a good fantasy role. The question is, when will Nick Chubb return? And they signed, I think they signed Madison. No, Madison's a Raider. The Browns signed someone, I thought. Or maybe they're going to draft someone. Whatever. Ford still feels safe to be in the mix, but he might not be towards the end of the season, where hopefully Brooks will be getting points. If Brooks sits the whole year, like, okay, fine. Let's go Audric Estime here. Whoa, Deshaun Watson is this cheap? I didn't realize that. We're going to take Deshaun. Yeah, take the upside swing in the 14th round. Out of principle, I just wasn't taking him in the past, but I do have Njoku, so that stacks well. Yeah, Audric Estime, he got dinged because he was slow, and then he ran faster at his pro day, but like pro day numbers are always juiced. Let's go with Jalen Hyatt. Second year player, spike week guy. Wins in a different way that like a Douglas or Samuel wins, who win more like with a little bit more volume. We got 3 more picks here. Going 2 of them at tight end. I'm going to take Michael Wilson and for the stack with Kyler, and I might just stop at 6 wideouts over here. Wilson will probably be the 2. Will Levis going 3 QB over here with me having Hopkins. Feels good. 3 quarterbacks with either for sure upside and Herbert and Watson. Both have been viewed as like top 5 plus quarterbacks in the past. And Will Levis, it is a leap of faith in the moves they've made. 3 stacks, 3 skinny stacks, Hopkins, Palmer, Njoku. Wide receiver doesn't seem that bad for punting it off to begin. You got 2 rookies. You got 2 old vets. You got 3 guys who you feel good about their roles. 2 tight ends you feel great about. So I like how this team's come together. Might go 5 running back and 10 wide out. With Achane and Cook kind of smaller guys, I don't feel bad about adding some extra bodies there if they missed some time. This team going to keep on adding running backs too. And this team Definitely 2 tight ends and then probably a wideout. I could have gone someone like Mike Gesicki over Jalen Hyatt, but I didn't feel like it. I am a Gesicki guy, though. Once again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please do so. I'm on my road to 5K, and the link to join my Discord is below. And if you want to become a YouTube member, you click the join button, and you can get access to my premium channel Discord for more direct access to me. Okay, coming up on the clock here. Yeah, I think Ray Davis tested quite well. So, welcome to the team. Need to refresh myself a little bit on these running back names, though. Woo. Over here, um, I do need running backs, but I'm gonna go Michael Mayer just because tight end falls off a cliff pretty soon. And then over here, I had a plan. I kind of forget it now. Well, new plan. We're going Davis Allen. Oh, I remember the plan. Davis Allen, big dude. Pretty fun tight end. Pretty fun yard after the catch guy. Let's take Traylon Burks in his natural slot role. Over here. I'm just gonna reach on Traylon here. Does this team actually have Will Levis on? And I mean, like, there's no such thing as a reach, especially for a guy who used to be a first round pick. If Levis and him are hitting, he's gonna far outscore some of these guys. Wide receiver 8, Traylon Burks. You know, who at worst seems like a downfield slot option, which that can have 6, 7 touchdowns in a season, you know? I mean, Roshan feels like a good gamble for my team that needs running backs. Pick 15. Great, great pass blocker. Should be on the field with Caleb. I got Brooks, who might not play to start the year. So still don't really know what's going to happen with that running back room with Swift, Roshan, Khalil Herbert still there, I think. So, maybe on draft day they ship out Herbert for a 7th, a 6th. Herbert, I could see a team like San Fran being like, we want you as our RB2. Yeah, I like how this wide receiver room came together. It's got some risk, right? Not impossible Mooney gets bumped for playing time. Not impossible Samuel does. Not impossible Mike doesn't play. Neighbors could be a giant, which is not ideal. Hyatt, boom bust. Douglas could hit the bench. Burks could just be bad again. But I think enough of them hit to make it work. Obviously, we're getting points at quarterback in a big way. I'm going to go with Dylan Labe, because I grew up in New Hampshire and he is like the first draftable guy from UNH in fantasy football and probably ever. So great reason to gamble on him. Also, one of the better pass catching backs in the class. So could definitely land somewhere and get a roll. And then probably just finish this out with wideouts. With 2 more picks on the clock here. My first one's about to finish. Gonna go Juwan as my 3rd tight end. This team needs wideouts. Fuck. We autoed over there. Grab Dawson Knox here. Who did we auto? Okay, honestly, I've autoed worse picks here. We went Dawson Knox over here for the stack with Josh. I'll recap all of these at the end. But we autoed Chig, who I'm a known Chig hater just because I don't think he's very good. However, with the better team, we autoed a stack partner with Will Levis. So if Will Levis is good, we have the Hopkins, Burks, and Chig stack. I wasn't planning to add a 3rd tight end, but, who cares? I was looking for a wide receiver name. I just didn't see it. Yeah, I was going to go Slayton, but Slayton didn't get drafted over here. And then he did over here. So A little too fooling around there. Definitely going to end with a wideout over here, though. Only going 9. That wasn't the plan. But honestly, like, for me not starting wide receiver heavy, I do feel good about the room, right? Lockett and Hopkins, they're just vets. Daniel Jones, worth a pick, round 19. Yeah, I definitely think he's a worthy gamble. Of course, the downside is that they draft someone, they draft McCarthy, whatever. But at the current point in time, I think he is a fine gamble, right? Like, if he plays, he's just in a great position to rack up fantasy points. Why is Foreman still on the board? Oh, Foreman is the one who just signed with the Browns, I think, right? Yes. Which kind of tips their hand that their plan is to do like a Ford Foreman mix until Chubb is ready, in my opinion. This team needs to go running back. And just because you asked, we're gonna grab Foreman for you. I don't love it, to be honest, but who cares? We need points over here. We got Ford and Foreman, so 2 swings at a valuable running back room in the Browns. Oh, you were looking at my other draft? Yeah, I mean, markets are slow to adjust to news. I also don't think Foreman signing there is like a must draft or anything. All right, we need a wide out here. Let's go Tim Patrick. Tim Patrick been down on his luck with injuries, but it really seems like the Broncos have wanted him to be wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. If he can stay healthy, not a name I would draft a lot, but could make some noise. So we only got 1 left here. 3 more picks, and then I'll recap these 3 and get out of here for the day. Yeah, this team, I think I'm going to stop at 6 wideouts. We got the Joe double. We got the Kyler Skinny. We got DJ Moore, Tank, and Adunze. I got Kincaid, Mayer, and Juwan Johnson at tight end. Burrow and Kyler. And then just going to take a lot of running back darts late. Could I add a 7th wide receiver? Of course I could. But, I'm viewing Brooks as like a 0 to start the year. Moss negatively leverages off of Joe, most likely. So good to get some other running backs who can hit the lineup when Joe is hitting the lineup. Javonte, not the highest ceiling player, probably. Jerome and Foreman obviously competing for a job. I could have for sure stopped at 2 tight ends, but might as well add the 3rd. Can get a touchdown at the right time. And Juwan, Juwan's got some comfortable upside. The hate on Jatavian Sanders has probably gone a little too far. This was a slow draft. Must have just got some autoers or people sitting on it. Yeah. I like ending it with 3 running backs for sure. The alpha. A little bit more downtime when you're only doing one at a time. Gonna go Abanikanda. I definitely think the Jets could add a running back in the draft, but like what I saw in Hard Knocks with him, and currently the RB2 after Brees, which, with us taking Jamar instead of Brees, negatively leveraging off of Brees feels good. Obviously, a high upside role if he does get either the starting job due to injury or just mixes in. If you guys like these morning streams, let me know in the YouTube comments. It's good to start the week with the stream. Yeah, Carter's in Arizona. If you're asking if I plan to draft Carter, not today. I've mixed him in a little bit, but kind of is what he is at this point. Everyone's saying this class is not a good running back class, but I could see a bunch of these running backs falling into roles because there are depth charts that are, not the hardest to climb. I do have Kyler though, so that is a reason I could add Carter, but we already got Michael Wilson. Man, Damian Pierce, how the mighty have fallen. He was so good his rookie year. We're again going to go with our UNH guy, Dylan Lobby. I could totally see him landing with like, as a late round pick, but he could land with a team like the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Bills, whatever. A team just looking for a pass catching running back. I would say the Chiefs and the Bills kind of feel like they have that role already, but and the bank, I mean, but the Chiefs don't. He also could land with some boring team, but I don't know. I think he gets drafted. So we're depending. This is the hyper fragile wide receiver team I've coined. You know, where you draft wide receivers early and then you stop and you take a bunch of scratch tickets on running back. I like it especially when I have 2 elite quarterbacks, 3 tight ends I feel good about. All right, while we're waiting for this last pick, I'm going to recap my other 2 teams. This team was a Josh and Joe quarterback team with James Cook, Aaron Jones, Chase Brown, Zach Charbonnet, Jerome Ford, and Audric Estime. Then we got Jamar Chase, Malik Neighbors, Christian Kirk, Mike Williams, Curtis Samuel, Darnell Mooney, Demario Douglas, Jalen Hyatt, and Traylon Burks with David Njoku, Davis Allen, and Dawson Knox. Pretty balanced. Feels good. This team was a Herbert, Watson, Will Levis team with Bijan, Achane, James Cook, Ray Davis, and Dylan Lobby. Malik Neighbors, Rome Odunze, Hopkins, Lockett, Curtis Samuel, Josh Palmer, Darnell Mooney, Traylon Burks, Tim Patrick, Kincaid, Njoku, and the auto-drafted Shiga Konku to stack with Will Levis. That's fate. This team is obviously going to win $200,000. Obviously, need these 3 running backs to hold it down. Need to get some scores from wideout, but might be able to. And then our last team here is a Joe and Kyler team. So the cheap elite quarterbacks with Javante, Zach Moss, Jonathan Brooks, Jerome Ford, Roshan Johnson, Deontay Foreman, Israel Abanikanda, Dylan Lobby, Jamar Chase, DJ Moore, Tank Dell, T. Higgins, Rome Odunze, Michael Wilson, Dalton Kincaid, Michael Mayer, Juwan Johnson, and whichever running back I add here as our 9th and final dart. Remember when Kenneth Gainwell became a 10th round pick or something? Let's go with Frank Gore Jr. Decent size. He's got a chance. And that will end my stream for today. Please like and subscribe if you have not. Leave a comment in the section. Everything helps. Thanks for watching. Have a great week. See you later.